You didn't lose their respect suddenly. You trained them to stop respecting you. Every instant reply, every no worries when they cancelled, every time you moved your schedule to fit theirs, you were teaching them something. You were teaching them that your time is cheap, and cheap things don't get protected. Cheap things get used. Let's be honest about what you've been doing. You answer immediately because you don't want them to think you're ignoring them. You show up every time because you don't want to lose your place in their life. You say yes when you want to say no because you're afraid they'll replace you. And slowly, quietly, invisibly, they start treating you like someone who can be replaced. Not because they're evil, because you made yourself infinitely accessible. And Nietzsche would say, you surrendered your will to power the moment you started living for someone else's approval. Modern society taught you this: be kind, be agreeable, be understanding, be patient, and people will value you. But Nietzsche called this slave morality, a system where submission is praised because it keeps you manageable, safe, predictable, easy to control. That uncomfortable silence you feel now, that urge to pull back, that voice telling you to stop chasing, that isn't you becoming cold, that's you beginning to detach from herd validation. Nietzsche would call this the first stage of transformation. The moment you stop trying to be liked and start trying to be respected. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why people lose respect for you when you become too available, and the behavioral shifts that make them start chasing your attention again. Not through manipulation, through scarcity. You thought being available would make you important, but what you actually did was remove every reason for them to think about you. Think about it. They don't miss you because you're always there. They don't wonder what you're doing because you always respond instantly. They don't value your time because you give it away freely. Water is everywhere. Nobody talks about water. Diamonds are rare. Everybody obsesses over diamonds. And right now, you're acting like water. Nietzsche understood this brutally well. Value is assigned through resistance, through effort, through the possibility of loss. When something is always available, your brain registers it as non-essential. So when you respond to every message within seconds, they don't feel loved. They feel like you have nothing better to do. Start responding slower, not to play games, but because your life finally matters more than their notification. Most of the disrespect you complain about, you trained people to give it to you. The first time they cancelled on you last minute, you said it's fine. The second time, you laughed it off. The third time, you rescheduled. You weren't being understanding. You were lowering the cost of disappointing you. And humans expand into whatever space has no consequences. Nietzsche called this the will to power, operating beneath social dynamics. Everyone is constantly testing limits, not consciously, but constantly. If you never push back, they walk further and further until your boundaries don't exist. Next time someone crosses a line, don't argue, don't explain, pull back. Silence is a wall they can feel. They didn't choose you because you're valuable. They chose you because you're valuable. They chose you because you're available. You always answer. You always listen. You always help. You always show up. And they always know you will. So why would they treat you like someone rare? You made yourself predictable. You made yourself dependable. And in social dynamics, dependable without limits means disposable. Nietzsche would say, the herd survives by feeding on those who give endlessly without keeping score. Start keeping score. Quietly. Who initiates? Who checks in? Who disappears the moment you stop reaching out? Watch the pattern reveal itself. Every fast reply was a question. Am I important to you? Every sacrifice of your time was a question. Do you value me? Every time you let something slide, you're asking, do you still like me? When your self-worth lives in someone else's opinion, you become psychologically dependent on them. And dependent people are not respected, they are managed. People feel it, they don't know why, but they feel the desperation. And desperation destroys attraction. Next time you feel the urge to reach out for reassurance, don't. Sit with it. Ask, what would I do right now if I needed nothing from this person? Do that instead. You spent years explaining why you're upset, why you need space, why what they did hurt you, and every explanation gave them something to argue with, something to dismiss, something to manage. Powerful people don't negotiate their boundaries, they enforce them silently. A person who yells tells you their limits. A person who withdraws gives you uncertainty. And uncertainty creates respect. Stop explaining. Change behavior instead. Every relationship has an energy imbalance. Someone cares more. Someone reaches out more. Someone needs more reassurance. And the one who needs less controls the dynamic. Not because they're manipulative, because they're not dependent. When you become too available, you shift the balance instantly, and they stop working for your attention. Stop reaching out first. Let the silence expose reality. You were taught, give more. Be patient. Don't give up on people. But kindness without limits becomes exploitation. Patience without standards becomes self-abandonment. Cold personal power is not cruelty. It is selectivity. Who gets your warmth? Who gets your time? Who gets access to you? The moment you decide that, you stop living for approval and start living for respect. You started with shame, realizing you've been too available, then doubt, then clarity, then anger, then detachment, and finally, personal power. If you go back to instant replies, constant availability, and self-erasure, it will get worse. Because now, you know. And choosing submission after awareness is fear. Drop one word in the comments: waking up, detaching, building, sovereign. Subscribe if you're done living for approval. And if you're ready for the uncensored frameworks behind social power, join. Because this was only the beginning.